dear students. I am Dr. Shikha Pandey, Associate Professor from Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. So today I am going to discuss on the about the topics, that is environmental pollution, pollution control technologies, and global environmental problem. On their question bank on these topics. So first of all, we will start this discussion on the OB related with the subject. That is, first of all, the name of the topic which is I am going to cover is the discussion on question bank. That is a question bank on environmental pollution, pollution control technologies, and global environmental problems. Second is the learning outcome of this topic is that it will be give you idea about the causes and effects of pollution, all pollution that is related with air, water, and soil, and that will be the learning outcome of this module. And the course outcome is that it will summarize or understand by the student that the global environmental problem due to the pollution and international summits to minimize the problem. Means it will give the idea about a person, a student, so how to do the minimization, what are the global treaties that has been signed for the overcome of environmental problems, and it's a global effects due to these environmental problems due to the pollution. Means we are going to discuss about the global environmental problems and its mitigation and prevention, what has been done by the nation, by the world to mitigate the pollution. Now comes to the next thing, that is about at the end of the course, a student will be able to do and understand the knowledge about the global environmental problem due to pollution and international summits to minimize the problems. Means whatever summits they have been made to minimize the problems and the global environmental problem, all due to the pollution. Now let's start this question with the first number question, that is define the term pollution and names various atmospheric pollution. So as this topic suggests that this is about in this topic we are going to discuss about the environmental pollution, pollution control technologies, and global environmental problem that has been related with the pollution. So first of all, the term, that is define the term pollution. What does this word means, pollution? So as we have already discussed that pollution means any undesirable change in the physical, chemical, or biological properties of air, water, and soil, and that will leads to an unfavorable or unfit condition for a human being, that is for a human being or any natural biotic organism, is called as pollution. Means any undesirable change that will be unfavorable for the human consumption, for the consumption of anything like air, water, soil, is called as pollution. Means those things that is making it pollution. And examples of this atmospheric pollutants are the natural or man-made. Two type of pollutants are there, and for air we'll say for many type of pollution is there. That is, first one is the air pollution, water pollution, then soil pollution, then noise pollution. So all they are the types of pollution. Means these things, those undesirable change in the physical, chemical, and biological properties of either air, water, soil, that will be unfavorable for its use, that will be unfavorable for the human being consumption, that is called as pollution. And there are two types of pollutants are there, and pollutants are those things that is causing the pollution. We can define pollutant as those agents that will create the pollution is called as pollutants. So pollutants are those agents or those things, they are creating the pollution, or they are the reason behind this pollution. So pollutant can be of two types. It's the human, man-made or natural. So the sources of pollutants are two types. First one is the man-made, means those pollutant that has been generated by the human activity, that is called as man-made pollutants. And natural pollutants are those pollutants that has been naturally occur in this earth. Like in case of air pollution, we'll talk about the volcanic eruption. In volcanic activity, SOx, NOx will come. So this is the natural sources of air pollution. And now comes to the next question, that is what is noise pollution? Mention its sources. So noise pollution, we can define it like noise pollution is that kind of noise that will be unfavorable for a human being. Means noise level, we can measure noise in the unit decibel. in the unit decibel, we are measuring the noise. So decibel, like, that is dB. So if a noise that is more than 85 more than 85 dB, then that will be comes under the category of noise pollution, because more than 80 decibel of noise is coming under the category of air pollution. So noise pollution. And noise pollution is of different type, like that sound or that noise that is creating some nuisance in a person is called as noise pollution. And the sources of noise pollution is two type. First one is a stationary source, and second is mobile source. A stationary source means those source that will be present at a single point, and mobile source is like a moving. So the example for a stationary source of noise pollution is the industries. Those industries that are some copper industries, some iron melting industries, means those industries that are producing more noise. And mobile source of noise pollution is the vehicles that is around us. They are sometimes, due to honkings, they are creating more noise pollution. Next is what are the natural and man-made pollutants that causes air pollution. So natural pollutants are those pollutants that are creating by nature, and man-made pollutants are the anthropogenic pollutants, means that pollutant that will be created due to human activities. So the example for natural pollutants is the volcanic eruption. In volcanic activities, SOx will come. This SOx will come, and this will be causing air pollution. And man-made source of air pollution is the many that is, you can say, vehicle pollution, that with vehicles and industries and everything. So the sources of pollutants of the man-made are NOx and SOx will come, and that is going to pollute the air. That are the main air pollutants. Mention various methods to control air pollution in industries. All industry, it has been given by the guideline of the government that you should have to install air pollution control devices in your industries. So the example for air pollution control devices is, the first one is the electrostatic precipitator, ozone settling chamber, and many are there. So like that, first one is the very most important, is the electrostatic precipitator. Next is the discuss soil pollution caused by fertilizers. So soil pollution, as we know, pollution that has been polluting the soil by any external agent, and that is making the soil unfavorable for the consumption, for the growth of any organism, or sometimes if a chemical is present in the soil, that will be going to enter into the food chain. So this soil pollution is caused by fertilizers due to what happened in today's, that is agro-based country, and due to more agriculture production, people are using more and more pesticides. These pesticides is equipped with a very high chemicals like DDT, sometimes DDT, and lead is there, sometimes nickel is there in this pollutants. So what will happen, this chemical pollutants, chemicals from these pollutants, it will in fertilizers will enter into the soil, and that is causing that will be the soil pollution, causing the pollution of the soil. And next is the discuss the adverse health effects due to industrial noise. Due to industrial noise, people will suffer from the heart attack, headache, kidney loss, loss of kidney failure. Lots of disease can be caused to a person due to this health effect due to this industrial noise. Explain how groundwater gets pollutes. Groundwater is those water that is present beneath the ground surface, So what will happen, some chemicals is there, toxic chemicals is there, like mercury, arsenic, lead, nickel in the soil, and this pollutant will come by the fertilizers of your agriculture discharge, all these things. So these toxic chemicals will enter into the soil, and from soil it is going to be enter into the groundwater. In the groundwater, what will happen, due to the seepage of the rainwater or surface runoff, this chemicals will going to accumulate inside the groundwater, and that will be main reason for the pollution of groundwater. And these chemicals will already enters into the groundwater during the rainy season, or because due to the leaching of water, leaching term is there. Due to the leaching of water, that toxic metal is going to be, it enters into the groundwater. Next is the defined air pollution. What are the sources of air pollution? Air pollution, again, will define air pollution is like that: any undesirable change in the physical, chemical, biological properties of air that will be unfit for human beings is called as air pollution. And different sources of air pollution is the first one is the vehicles, industries, some homemade sources, fumes. All are the sources of air pollution. Forest fires is also a natural source. Volcanic eruptions. These are the different sources of air pollution. Define solid waste. How can solid waste be recycled? Solid waste, we can define it as like those things that has been discarded now, that will be not going to use it again, is called as solid waste. And it is what is the recycling of solid waste? Means waste that we can recycle, that we can reuse for our different purposes, is called as recycling of waste. Describe how we measure water quality. Water quality, will measure water quality by some water parameters is there, and you have to recall all the parameters that will be making a water fit for drinking purpose. So first parameter is the BOD, biological oxygen demand. Second is the COD, chemical oxygen demand. Next is the DO, dissolved oxygen, and temperature. All these temperature, pH. All these are the important factors that will determine a water quality. And next question is that mention treatment methods for the industrial effluents. Some treatment method is there for industrial effluents, means those effluents that is coming from an industry. So for this, electrostatic coagulation method is there, where electrons and coagulates has been used to make the flocculants from the industrial effluents, and then they will discharge it into the water. Define the term e-waste. Why does it require management? E-waste is those waste that has been originated, that has been generated due to the human, due to this from this computer, due to this computer generation world, due to this computer dependent world. Means those things that has been electronic things that has been waste now is called as e-waste. So its example is the discarded printer, discarded computer, laptops, mobiles. All these are coming under the category of e-waste, and it require management because it contains very dangerous chemical substances like toxic substances like arsenic, nickel, sometimes mercury is there in the chip of computers, inside a chip, inside a mobile phone, copper is there. So that's why its a management is very much important, and people will have no idea about the dangerous and this harmfulness of this e-waste. Now, what is bioremediation? Means remediation word is used for the removal of pollutants. Means remediation words means removal of pollutant from a source. So bioremediation word will reflect the remediation of pollutants by a biotic sources. Like some nowadays microorganisms has been used for the removal of pollutant from water. Nowadays plants has been used for the removal of pollutant from soil. That is called as phytoremediation. Next is what is ozone layer and why it getting depleted. Ozone layer is the layer you can see in the picture. Like ozone layer is the layer that is present in the stratosphere, and it will act as a shield for Earth from this UV protection, harmful UV rays. So what will happen in the ozone layer? Ozone layer will filter the UV radiation that is coming from the Earth. So this is the main function of this ozone layer, and it is getting depleted due to the use of this chlorofluorocarbon that will be coming from our household activity. These are the some chemicals is there, that is ozone depleting chemicals, and CFC is there, hydrofluorocarbon is there, halogens is there. So here you can see that their sources are already mentioned, like CFC comes from aerosol, refrigerant, solvents, HCFC comes from the aerosol, refrigerant, solvents, and halogens is there that will come from fire extinguisher. Next is what are the major causes of deforestation? The major causes of deforestation is that deforestation is done by the people for their shelter. It is done by some people for the over exploitation of natural resources like timbers, they need more plants, because due to the population explosion, every demand has been increased. So for deforestation purpose, they are clearing the forest for the expansion of city, for the expansion of industries. That is the main reason behind this deforestation. Next question is the discuss the provision of Kyoto Protocol. Means discuss the what has been discussed in the Kyoto Protocol. Kyoto Protocol is basically on the protection of this layer, ozone layer. Kyoto Protocol is there. That will be mainly happen for the protection of for the control of the emission of greenhouse gases. In the Kyoto city of Japan, one convention has been made that will be for the cutting down the emission of greenhouse gases for all the countries. Means they have set some standard for the emission of greenhouse gases, because due to greenhouse gases global warming is there, and due to global warming climate change is there. So these are the main reason for global warming and climate change. That's why this Kyoto Protocol has been made in the year 1996 to control or to curb the emission of carbon dioxide or greenhouse gases. So next is the what are the ozone depleting substance. Means those substance that are depleting the ozone layers. Means what substance is there, they are depleting the ozone layer. So the example for ozone depleting substance is the CFC, then chlorofluorocarbon, then HCFC, hydrochlorofluorocarbon, halogens, and methyl bromide. So these are the chemicals that is causing depletion of the ozone layer. What are the major causes of deforestation? So for desertification is the process of conversion of any green land into a dry land. So it will be major cause of desertification is a deforestation. Deforestation is the main reason for this desertification. Due to clearing of forest, soil will lose their fertility. Soil erosion will increase, and due to the erosion of soil, desert that on normal green land is going to be converted into a desert or dry land, because desert means those conditions where no fertility is there or dryness is there. So due to cutting of trees, soil is losing their compaction, and due to the loss of the compaction, soil erosion will increase, and due to soil erosion, desertification will happen. So the major cause of desertification is deforestation. Now comes to the next question: differentiate between the climate change and global warming. Climate change is the change of climates. Means average change in the average global pattern of the climate is called as climate change. Climate change is the change in the average global climate pattern. And global warming is the heating of Earth's surface due to greenhouse gases is called as global warming. Means the increase in temperature of the Earth's surface due to the production of these greenhouse gases, and condition will cause that condition is called as greenhouse effects. So what will happen? The more greenhouse gases is there in the Earth's surface, and greenhouse gases in the atmosphere trap some of the heat. Due to this a car condition has been created inside the Earth's surface. Like if heat can comes inside, if you see that in a car, heat can comes inside through a window into the car, but it cannot goes outside, because this is a glass material. Like that happen into the Earth condition. What will happen? This already some greenhouse gases, already some sunlight is coming inside the Earth's surface, and it won't go back. And due to this greenhouse gases, the Earth's temperature is rising more and more amount. And due to this greenhouse effects, the Earth is going to be global warming is going to be happen. And here you can see in the picture, like some energy is reflected back to the space when Earth's surface is heated by the sun and radiates the Earth back out and towards space. And greenhouse gas in the atmosphere trap some of the heat. Means already heat is trapped inside the Earth's surface, and due to this heat, automatically Earth's surface is going to be heated, and this heat causes the global warming. So what are the results of implementation of the Montreal Protocol? First of all, Montreal Protocol has been done for the protection of ozone layer. protection of ozone layer. In Montreal Protocol has been made, it is a convention has been made for the protection of ozone layer. So what will happen in this Montreal Protocol? Some all greenhouse gases, means all ozone depleting substances has been curved out, means they have made standards or some rules regarding the production of ozone depleting substances. Now comes to the next question, that is about the again the primary and secondary air pollutants, means, and then enumerate various methods to control air pollution. So first of all, the primary and secondary air pollutants. Primary air pollutants are those pollutants that will be generated primarily, and secondary air pollutant are those pollutants that will be generated due to the reaction, some chemical reaction between two primary pollutant is called as secondary pollutant. So the example of primary pollutant are the primary pollutants is the SOx and NOx, and the secondary pollutant is the H2SO4, because H2SO4 is the secondary air pollutant, and PAN, peroxyacyl nitrate. H2SO4 is the secondary air pollutant that will be formed by the reaction between two primary pollutant, means two primary pollutant SOx and in the presence of water, H2SO will be formed, that will be coming in acid rain. Enumerate with examples of the major sources of surface water pollution and groundwater pollution. Explain the methods to control water pollution. Here you have to explain the examples of the major sources of surface water pollution. Surface water are those water that is river, ponds. These are the example for surface water. So, and the groundwater is already groundwater. You know, water that is beneath the earth surface, So you have to discuss the different sources of surface water pollution, like industrial effluents, agriculture effluents that will be coming from farmland. Like that, groundwater pollution is due to agriculture runoff, rainwater runoff, and we have to discuss about the different methods to control the water pollution. Next question is about the major sources of soil pollution. How does soil affect soil productivity, and what measures can be taken to prevent soil pollution? Here you have to discuss about the pollution of soil, like soil pollution in general ways, like which are the major sources of soil pollution, means what are the sources they are affecting the soil pollution, like the fertilizers is there, chemicals is there, and it's how does this will going to affect the soil productivity. Due to the addition of some toxic chemicals into the soil, it will be going to enter into the food chain, and it will be going to affect the fertility of soil. In this way, the soil productivity is going to be reduced. And what are the different kinds of action we should take for the prevention of soil of pollutions? Next is the same question is there, where you have to discuss about the sources, effects, and control of noise pollution. What are the main sources of noise pollution? Is the primary is the mobile source and stationary source. What are the effects of noise pollution? Like effects of noise pollution on the normal human being, like people will get headache, people will get kidney failure, or lots of emotional imbalance will create inside a person due to this noise pollution. And different methods to control this noise pollution. For the plantation of trees would be important, that will be going to absorb the noise, or some standards should be there that will be going to check the standard of pollution, the noise pollution. Next is the enumerate 5 categories of water pollutant, their sources and effects. Here again you have to discuss 5 categories of water pollutants, means pollutant, those are polluting the water, is called as pollutants, and their sources and effects. So here you have to discuss about the industrial effluent, water effluent from household activities, effluent coming from any hospitals, so, and any industry effluents. And next question is like discussed how e-waste can be managed to prevent the environmental pollution. E-waste has to managed because e-waste is containing very dangerous chemicals like arsenic, mercury, lead. All these chemicals are present in e-waste, and it has to be managed due to recycling activity, and it should be collected at a place, and then disposal processes should be there, or most of the e-waste has been recycled or reused. Next is the what are the adverse effects that a solid waste causes, and discuss how can the solid waste be managed. Here again you have to discuss about the management of solid waste. Like management of solid waste is the its origin, then it's a collection, then it's a transportation, it's a segregation, and it's a proper disposal of solid waste. And the effects of solid waste, like different effects related with the solid waste, and explain the concept of bioremediation and what are the advantages with the bioremediation. So bioremediation concept is like a remediation of pollutant by the use of some biological agents, and its advantage is that it is a means like eco-friendly way, and it will not create any kind of pollution. Because if we're going to use some electrostatic precipitator, some big instruments, then there are some consumption of electricity is there. They will produce some byproducts also, so that in bioremediation process it is totally biological friendly. Next is the again the what are the major causes of human wildlife conflict. So in human wildlife conflict is all due to this deforestation. And deforestation, human wildlife conflict is all due to the deforestation, because due to deforestation human wildlife conflict will occur, because people will clear the human territory and animals forest, and they will go to live nearby to the animals. And that's why sometimes wildlife animals, like in Sundarban of West Bengal, tiger will enters into the human territory, and then tiger will now very dangerous, and that is going to be eat any man. That's why the tiger is called as man-eater tiger. And different wildlife conservation practices is there, national park is there, sanctuary is there. And next is the discuss Kyoto Protocol. How can it do to curb climate change? Kyoto Protocol is basically a protocol has been made to reduce the emission of greenhouse gases. So due to the greenhouse gases emission, Earth's surface, atmosphere, Earth's temperature is going to be increased. So this increase in temperature is due to is called as global warming. And due to this increase in temperature, the Earth's polar and north pole is going to be melt. Expansion of sea is there. Sea level rise is there. So these are the evidences for the climate change. So that's why if we cut the emission of greenhouse gases, that will going to help in the climate change. What are the major causes and consequences of deforestation? Reason for deforestation is the human population increase and population explosion. All are the reason behind this deforestation. And what are different opinion about North Bloc and South Bloc countries during Earth Summit? So North Bloc and South Bloc countries have a very different kind of emission during the Earth Summit 1992, because means both of the countries have not both the country is not going to set the standard, and they are not going to accept the standard for the curve of this emission to cut the emission of greenhouse gases, because every nation wants to do some development. Every nation wants to do some development. For development, they must have to make some industries, and if they will make industry, already greenhouse gases emission will be increased. So those countries that are already developed, so they can set a standard, but those countries, they are in the category of developing nation. So how can they will accept the curves, the terms and condition given in this Kyoto Protocol? That differences has been created both South and North countries. And explain climate change and global warming, how they related, what the evidence proved in the climate change. Again, climate change and global warming. Climate change is due to this global warming, and you can see the evidences related with this climate change is there. Now the average global pattern of monsoon has been changed. Mean sea level is going to be rise. So this is due to global warming. Mean sea level is going to be rise, and the climate change monsoon pattern has been changed, and more climate more heat is there, earth's temperature, normal earth's temperature is going to be increased. These are the reasons for the climate change and global warming. And what is greenhouse gases? Discuss potential and contribution to these gases in global warming phenomena. Greenhouse gases are those gases like carbon dioxide, methane, NOx. All these gases are the greenhouse gases, and they are contributing to all the global warming phenomenon, because greenhouse gases increases the earth's surface temperature, and due to this increase in earth's surface temperature, some global warming is causes, because more heat is there and it cannot be trapped outside the earth atmosphere, because earth atmosphere already some gas is trapped inside it, and due to the trapping of the gases, the earth's surface temperature is going to be increased, and this will leads to the global warming or climate change. Now comes to the next question, that is related with the ozone depleting substances and what are the Montreal Protocol. So the theme of Montreal Protocol is to protect the ozone layer. Protect the ozone layer. Ozone layer. And ozone depleting substances are here are the some example for this ozone depleting substances. CFC is there, chlorofluorocarbon, hydrofluorocarbon, HCFC is there, bromofluorocarbon and nitric oxide. These are the reason for this. These are the ozone depleting substances, ODS, ozone depleting substances, and their sources is like CFC has been generated from the refrigerator and aerosol spray propellant, and hydrofluorocarbon is also generated from the refrigerants and blowing agents, air conditioner. Bromofluorocarbon is generated from the fire extinguisher. Nitric oxide is generated from the detonation of nuclear weapon and nitrogenous fertilizer. So these are the Montreal Protocol. Montreal Protocol is only due to the protection of ozone layer. And next is the Enumerate with the example of different sources of surface pollution. Surface pollution sources are like those pollutant that is going to pollute the surface water like river, ponds, stream and lakes. And its example, its sources is the household sources. Its sources is industrial effluent. Next is the major causes and consequences of desertification. Again, here is the desertification reason is all due to deforestation. Deforestation. Explain the consequences of surface and groundwater. Means here you have to discuss about the pollution, water pollution and groundwater pollution. Water pollution and groundwater pollution. This is different consequences of pollution related with the surface water pollution and groundwater pollution. Now comes to the part C type of question. This is like a critical answer question. Like in this part of the question, you have to think something like it will be not asked directly to you. Some thinking capacity you have to develop regarding this question, and it will be sometimes called as essay type of question. Like you should write this answer in a essay type manner, because here also some general question is also there, and that will be developed when you will develop some thinking inside yourself, like what are these pollution, what is this air pollution, what is this things that will be very much important with the air pollution. So list the physical, physiological and psychological effects of noise. Discuss the adverse health effect due to industrial noise. Here also you have to discuss about the health related problem, psychological problem and physical problem that will be happen due to this noise pollution. Next is the climate change and global warming. Again, you have to discuss the climate change in the climate, and the average global pattern increase is called as global warming. And you have to discuss about the evidences that it has been proved that climate is changing. What is the role of automobile in creating air pollution and other environmental problem? Here you have to discuss about the air pollution, means general sources of air pollution. Means this will be like a air pollution, different sources, air pollutant, different sources like vehicle pollutions. Enumerate any 5 major categories of water pollutant and their sources and effects. Means you have to discuss about the different categories of water pollutants and their source and their effects also. Explain how groundwater in many places in India become contaminated with fluoride and arsenic. This is a very important question. Here we have already discussed like some fluoride is there inside the groundwater. Fluoride has been entered inside the groundwater, and this will be causes some disorder that is called as fluorosis. Like this, arsenic is also enters into the groundwater, and this will be causing some cancer and skin problems due to this arsenic enters into the groundwater. Draw layout of sewage treatment plant, effluent treatment, and common effluent treatment plants. Explain the problem encountered with the disposal of solid waste from different sources. Now we have to discuss. You have to discuss about the disposal of solid waste and the sources of solid waste. How can a change of 1 or 2 degree in global average temperature have an impact on our life? Here you have to discuss about the climate change and their effects related with human being. Next is the international initiative against the depletion of ozone layer. Here you have to discuss about the Montreal Protocol. Explain how does climate change become a global issue and what was the international initiative. Here you have to discuss about the Kyoto Protocol and Montreal Protocol and the climate change and everything that, and the international initiative has been taken to curb out the pollution. So these are the questions related with the topic environmental pollution control technologies, and global environmental problem. Thank you for today's lecture.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.